Hey, good afternoon, guys. I just thought I'd do a video today, as a little in memoriam video for Jane Goodall. For those of you who don't know, Jane Goodall was for many decades one of the leading primatologists, anthropologists in the world. One of the most notable and famous. She started her work early in her 20s, moved to Africa, and was among the first people to actually study chimps in the wild, living with them day in, day out. Same thing with bonobos, and then on to, larger apes like gorillas. But this woman has impacted science time and time again, especially the science of primatology, for decades. And she has passed away yesterday, October 1st. Just a little bit about Jane Goodall here. Her name is Dame Valerie Jane Morris Goodall. She is a British anthropologist, primatologist. She is regarded as a pioneer in primate ethology. She was best known for her more than 6 decades of field research on the social and family life of wild chimpanzees at Gombe Stream National Park in Tanzania. Beginning in 1960 under the sponsorship of Louis Leakey, so she was sponsored under the famous biologist Louis Leakey, or primatologist Louis Leakey. Goodall's work challenged prevailing scientific views by showing that chimpanzees make and use tools, hunt cooperatively, and display complex emotions and social structures once thought unique to humans. And there's a picture of her for y'all. Since this is mainly a channel focused on the UAP and Bigfoot topic, and just also I'm a naturalist at heart. I've been around animals since I could crawl. I've been catching snakes since I could walk. I've caught alligators. I've kept crocodilians. I've kept hundreds of different snakes, dozens of species. I love animals just like she does. She was in my world my whole life. And much like when Steve Irwin died, this one kind of hurt. I felt this one. This was somebody who was very important to me, and I looked up to. And I knew she was old. I hadn't thought of her honestly in a few months, but yeah, just finding out that she died, it's like, oh well, we lost another good one. That's what that feels like. That's what the situation is for me, and for many people that loved her and love animals. So, since this is a Bigfoot and UFO related channel, I am going to include 2 to 3 clips, because I forget exactly how many there are, but there are 2 to 3 different times in interviews where Jane Goodall has been asked what her thoughts on Bigfoot are. And her answers are not what you would think. In fact, she says that she believes that there is something out there because of how credible the stories that she's heard are. And also, one very important story that she tells, a very important clue in that story, actually from Ecuador, about what we call Bigfoot or Sasquatch. And it's just pretty interesting, I'm not really much of a believer that Bigfoot is in South America. I believe Bigfoot is in North America. But if Bigfoot is the other side, because there's 2 ways that Bigfoot can go. Either it's a natural animal or it's an interdimensional kind of phenomenon. It is what it is. I know it sounds kooky, but whatever. If it is to be believed what she asked these tribe members in Ecuador, if their answer is to be believed, then it would be leaning more towards the side that Bigfoot is a interdimensional / spiritual entity that exists both in a physical and ethereal state, I guess. Or it's something that just hasn't been discovered because people aren't believed and nobody ever goes to go check on it. That just ends up being what happens. But Jane Goodall has never really said flat out no, like these things don't exist, it's rubbish. She's never said that. And we're talking about one of the most respected, most knowledgeable primatologists, naturalists in the world. So yeah, I mean, just like pretty much every one of my videos, I'm gonna show now these 3 interviews back to back, and I just really want to know what you guys think about it. Let's talk about it in the comments, and yeah.
Wow, you're open to the idea that Bigfoot might exist, true?
Well, there's so many stories. Like, I was in the midst of Ecuador with jungle all around and a few little isolated communities. And hunters used to go from community to community. So I asked my translator, I said, when you meet one of these hunters, all I said, have you seen a monkey without a tail? And 5 of them came back and said, oh yeah, there are monkeys without tails. They walk upright and they're 6 foot high. So take it or leave it. But
And do you have any idea, or theory as to what those might be?
Well, sort of maybe, remnant Neanderthals or something.
And no one took any pictures of those tailless monkeys?
Well, there are a couple of pictures which people refute and say they're probably fake.
Those famous pictures that we've seen, you believe those might actually be real?
Well, they might.
Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are so many stories, aren't there? We've all heard them. In fact, I mean, half of the show Finding Bigfoot was the town hall testimonies, people telling their experiences. I mean, Sasquatch Chronicles, the podcast, it's entirely based on people retelling their encounters with Sasquatch. So she's right about that. There are so many stories. But to be in the jungles of Ecuador, in the Amazon, where, by the way, there are no tailless monkeys. All the monkeys in the Amazon have tails. Also, they're all pretty small in comparison to other monkeys like chimps, bonobos, gorillas. These tend to be small monkeys with tails. So to ask a hunter in an isolated community in the Amazon, she's talking about native Amazonian communities here, to say that, to ask that question, and then to get a response like that yes, we have seen monkeys without tails, and not just that, but that they're 6 feet tall. Mind you, people in the Amazon, they don't grow that tall. They're usually around 5'5" average. So, I mean, this is why I love this video. But yeah, I mean, even Jane Goodall says, well, they might be real. There's all these pictures, they might be real. And, leftover Neanderthals is what she thinks. I think that it may be that, but I think there might be some more supernatural element to Bigfoot. Unfortunately, I hate saying that, it's so woo-woo, but there's all these stories and all these similarities in all these stories from all these people that don't know each other. And it's just, how can they be getting these minute differences in the stories or minute similarities right without communicating with each other beforehand and saying, hey, let's get our stories straight? No, it's just people telling their story, and then just so happens that the other people that experience the same thing are telling the same story, so they're gonna match up. So for her to come up with a question like that, so smart, have you ever seen a monkey without a tail? And they said, not only have we seen a monkey without a tail, but they walk upright on 2 feet and they're 6 feet tall. Come on. I mean, that's great. That's great. So yeah, this is video number 1, and those are my thoughts on it. Let's go on to video number 2, shall we?
I climbed into the hills. This was where I was meant to be.
I want to talk to you about something that some would say is fictional, but you would say, hold up, we don't know for certain, and that's Bigfoot.
Everybody talks to me about. I'm romantic. I would like Bigfoot to exist. I've met people who swear they've seen Bigfoot. And I think the interesting thing is every single continent, there is an equivalent of Bigfoot or Sasquatch. There's the Yeti, there's the Yari in Australia, there's the Chinese wild man, and on and on and on. And, you know, I've had stories from people who, you have to believe them. So there's something, I don't know what it is. I'm always open-minded.
What about other mythological creatures, like or supposedly mythological, I guess I should say, like the Loch Ness Monster?
Loch Ness Monster obviously doesn't exist.
Alien beings, do you think we're alone in this universe?
I don't. I think that it doesn't make sense to think we're the only intelligent form of life. This wall that was built between us, we're just the only really intelligent, capable of this, that, and the other. Difference in kind between us and the other animals, that wall is broken down, and the chimps help to break it down.
Well, that was the last video there, guys. She was asked pretty much the same question, answered it a little bit differently. Still fascinating nonetheless. Not really much that I'm going to say about this video. Just want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. So just please remember to like and subscribe to Non-Fictionation. Thank you.